All right, finishing up the Brain Trust Power Hour with our smartest and clearly the tallest member of this team, James Green. He's joined by Dave Goodwin, managing partner, co-founder at ATC, Doug Nyheisel, inside support for ATC, and John Gonzalez, vice president of sales and mobility for Wireless Watchdogs. Take it over, James.
Thanks for joining us, guys. I really appreciate it. So I just wanted to start out with the ATC team and just kind of see how things are going. What's new in your world?
Well, James, I'll start off. Thanks for having us today. We specialize in four main buckets. We work on phone systems, we work on connectivity, we work on cloud, which that means a lot to a lot of different people. And we also work on cybersecurity. And within the phone system kind of comes the mobile practice that we've built up. It's something that we don't maybe market to ubiquitously. We're more looking for the right size customer, looking for I think the areas where we might be able to help them quite a bit, where we know we have vendors that are really going to knock it out of the park.
Well, good. I follow you on social media, and I'm seeing like new offices. What's the deal with that?
We have signed a letter of intent for a new office to the location to be named later until we actually sign off on the lease of agreement. But they are putting the lease together for us. They already know our attorney and who we're working with to nail down the terms of that contract. We have a lot of different things going on. We have new logo coming out, new website coming out. We've added a couple people. One starts next week. One starts the first week of March. We're still probably trying to get another one before the end of March. We do have new space. It'll be about twice as many square feet as we have today, and it'll be very, very technology forward, which is the intent, especially with COVID and the way things are going now. We really need it to be kind of like leading/bleeding edge, so that we send the right message to the customers or our clients that might want to be looking for us to help them kind of get from point A to point B.
Awesome. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So, John,
ask Doug. He's only been here 2 years. Good time.
Welcome, Doug. So, John, tell us a little bit for our partners that aren't aware. Tell us a little bit about Wireless Watchdogs and what you guys do.
Sure. So we sell watches for dogs. They can be out by four at a time. No, so it's pretty unique. We're in a mobile first world. Almost every client has mobile devices, and it's dropped to an already stretched IT department, and it's up to them to figure out, new devices, how to optimize security, help desk support, processes, analytics, actionable analytics. So 20 years ago, we embarked and created this, system to help companies save money, time, and aggravation when it comes to these living and breathing devices. So we're able to come in and cut costs without them switching their carrier. So there's no rip and replace.
Wow.
Being able to, become an extension of IT at the expense of the carriers through the bill reductions we help realize. And we're a great door opener, right, for a lot of partners out there, because everybody has mobility. You come in, we cut costs, we offer a complimentary analysis. And from there, our clients stick with us, for years, because nobody wants this back on their plate. It's too difficult. There's new devices, there's new operating systems and security. So at the end of the day, our job is to put a hypothetical box on the partner's client's desk, and everything related to mobility that they don't want to deal with comes to us, right?
Wow.
So we're the aspirin for managing mobility.
Love it. It's definitely a growing space, and we're excited about having the partnership with the Wireless Watchdogs. So with that, Dave and team, how have you guys traditionally gone to market with wireless, and how have you guys kind of embraced the technology?
I think the most important thing to understand is we are a consulting firm, and we have 6 steps to our consulting process. And that process on the front end is an audit and assessment. And we're getting into much more of an IT discussion than we ever did. It's more telecom specific, whereas today we're getting into applications, we're getting into wireless or mobility, we're getting into security, we're getting into a lot of those different things that I talked about we specialize in, but the conversation is much more overreaching, not overreaching, but far-reaching than it once was. So our go-to-market strategy is really to come in and understand the entire landscape of what the customer has, And then based upon their needs and objectives and our expertise, we've kind of coupled the two together to find out what vendors we're going to bring in, where we might be able to offer assistance, and so on and so forth.
Awesome. So, John, how do you guys normally work with partners in your level of engagement with them?
Sure. Similar to ATC, we do have that process. We engage with partners that have clients with 100 devices or more. Okay, 100 devices or more is where you're seeing, the challenge of, having to do a lot of the functions that IT is already stretched thin to do.
Right.
So we come in, we offer a complementary analysis. We take a look at the environment and see if there's a better way to buy and cut costs. All the analytics and reports to show them who's doing what, where, when, and how with their mobile devices sits well with the executives and the HR people, because we carry these devices everywhere we go. So they're like our new DNA. They tell a pretty good story on productivity, right? So there's, several ways to engage with a partner, but typically it's running that free analysis to identify the facts of how much money is on the table, how we're going to create a revenue stream out of a current expense, but more importantly, take the nightmare of managing these devices cradle to the grave off the client's desk.
So, John, I heard something crazy about a SPIF program that you guys got going on right now. You might want to highlight that for the guys.
So, yeah, we're crazy, but you know what? At the end of the day, we're giving away $500 to any partner that brings in an opportunity with at least 200 devices or more. Even if it doesn't close, they get that $500. But if it
What?
does, yeah.
That's
But
great.
if it does close, they get that 500 plus another $500 sign-on bonus, just as a thank you. And since we have an 81% close ratio, that's, we want to make sure that, we get this mobility management opportunity out to the partners, because, I've been told back in the days, everybody thought it was just like, oh, we got to switch carriers. We got to do activations, and it's so much easier and more than that to make this residual.
Awesome. So, ATC team, what's it been like working with Wireless Watchdogs? I understand there's been several deals you guys have won.
I'm going to make one comment to dovetail on what John said. I think they're smart, right? They're just trying to get a seat at the table. So they're paying partners, to get that seat at the table because they know they're going to close 80+% of them. So
Right.
I think that makes good sense. As far as the details, that wouldn't really be my core area of input. So I'm going to let Doug take over on that.
Yeah. Working with the Watchdogs team, John's been great. Mark is great. Every time they have great follow-up with our customers, they treat our customers like their own, which they usually do become their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
So between the great follow-up, their friendliness with our customers, their attention to detail when it comes to doing the presentation to show what kind of cost savings that they've found, it all in is a great experience working with their team.
Awesome. So has there been a regular cadence between the two worked out? What's that look like?
Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Sorry.
Like, are you guys having weekly meetings or monthly meetings where you're kind of talking about maybe a go-to-market strategy, that kind of thing?
Not yet, but I think that might be a good idea, because we're having these conversations with our customers every day. Anytime I'm with a new client, I bring up wireless optimization to them. Like you said, it's a great foot in the door. It's a no-brainer. We're going to look at how can we save you money. You're not changing your carrier. You're not changing the devices. We're going to save you money. We're going to save you time and headache of managing those devices, and let Watchdogs do what they do best.
Plus, things happen a lot faster. We're putting in circuits and phone systems. That takes a long time. So when you talk about as a business owner, right, the quote to cash interval, right?
Yeah.
We want to shorten that, and wireless watchdogs is a good way to do that, as opposed to, circuits and phone systems that take quite a bit longer to install.
To your point on that, Dave, John, what's the quickest turnaround time you've ever seen on an engagement with a client to when they're starting the bill?
Yep. So yeah, we are very quick. It's very quick because, again, it's not rip and replace, right? All we're doing is getting authorized on their account. We're actually submitting plan changes. They're already realizing savings. They're up and they're fully structured in our system. So by month 3 and 4, they're already paying their bills, right? They're already, happily paying their bills because the combination between what they were paying, now they're paying, not only the carrier, but us as well. Those two checks are far less than the one they've been cutting. And that residual starts to come in month 3 and 4, of the opportunity.
Wow. So if you could turn something around in about 10 days, potentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, if you have the right person on the phone, I've had people stop me halfway through presentations and say, I don't know what you're going to say to us, but this is exactly what we need. Let's do it. And they sign right away, right? Especially if you have the right person, the decision makers in the meeting.
The
awesome.
best part about that for us is that PlanetOne's so good in paying us that closes in like 10 days. We're usually getting paid in like 15.
That's great, right?
That's nice.
And it's nice mailbox money for sure.
Absolutely.
So, with everything going on right now and the work from home space and that kind of thing, how much of an impact has this space kind of played for your revenue growth, Dave?
Are you talking specifically in the wireless or mobility space?
And
or
wireless
just-
and mobility, yeah, or either one, whichever.
When COVID first hit, we had the governor's orders, work from home was, I don't know, like late March-ish, somewhere in there. We had a lot of customers that were in a bad way, right? They were in a bad spot.
Yeah.
They had invested. They were kind of behind the curve. And so we got a lot of immediate traction from that, but those were smaller customers. The more mid and larger size customers, which is what they typically end up being unless they have IoT stuff. When we're talking about 100 devices or more for wireless watchdogs, those deals are usually, more mid and upstream or upmarket. There was kind of there was some slowness or a slowing effect that went on. And then we got into about the fourth quarter of last year, the last 3 months. It really opened up. I mean, that was we had the best December we've had in 21 years in business.
Wow.
The best month that we've had in December of the 21 years we've been in business. So we really saw a lot of different things. I think people are saying, okay, COVID's here. Who knows how long it's going to be here, but we still have to conduct business, right?
Yeah.
We still have to make sure that employees are making money and our customers are happy and the business is making money and so on and so forth. And mobility is a big part of that because you have people working out of their houses. And sometimes those internet connections aren't very good and they need alternatives. Everybody's at home. Kids were at home there for a while and still to some degree, and they're flooding their internet pipes, and it just becomes a more mobile environment, work from anywhere, anytime kind of environment. And wireless watchdogs are perfectly suited for that.
Awesome. So, John, I know when working with you that right now there's a lot in that space, and I know security is also part of this. So, tell us a little bit more about what you guys do in terms of mobile device security.
Sure. So we do not sell any of the security software. You might be familiar with Microsoft Intune, AirWatch, Mobile Iron, MOS 360. There's a lot out there. Where we come in is expertise. Okay. This takes, again, an already stretched IT team. They don't teach this stuff at Harvard. Okay. So you come in, and we've been doing this for so long that we have the processes, right, available to get that security platform deployed. So we come in and we manage the systems that are already in place, because a lot of times what happens is companies will get these MDM systems because they want to push out apps, they want to secure the devices, they're being told by management, they're under HIPAA compliance if they're healthcare, under FINRA compliance if they're banking, right? And they get the system and they use it to push out an app or maybe remote wipe a device, not knowing how many functions that they're already paying for this software gives to them.
Mm-hmm.
So we come in and we take a look at their business and say, okay, let's talk about your needs, right? And here's what this MDM can support. Are you utilizing this? Are you utilizing this? And then we build that environment and then we manage it. Now, there's a lot of churn at companies. Okay, statistically, any company that has over 1,000 MDM licenses, it takes 2 full-time equivalents because you have to build the system. There's churn, so you have to unenroll devices, re-enroll devices. You got to manage compliance, got to do the help desk support. So when we come in and we show them not only that we can cut costs on the front end, but use those savings to help manage another system, there's another residual avenue for the partners on the managed service side and on the mobility on the MDM managed service side. So they want as much as it's off their plate, especially that IT's looked at it as a cost center. They can go to the CFO and say, look, I'm going to save money. I'm going to gain efficiency. This is going to be off the plate. You know what I mean? And they guarantee to save us more than what they charge. Let's move forward.
Wow.
The other thing that I would say there, if I could, James, is
Go
that
for it.
wireless watchdogs, they're giving some reporting and analytics that you're not going to get from Verizon or AT&T or now USA Mobile and Sprint. They're portals. I know that they have those portals, and some are a little bit better than others, but at the end of the day, it's not the same kind of reporting and analytics that they're going to get from somebody like wireless watchdogs.
That was a good point, David. And they're actionable analytics, right? Why is Timmy using 100 gigs? He does the same job as Sue Ann and Mary. Now, what am I paying this person per hour with benefits to be screwing around on my device, right? So they tell a good story because we carry these things everywhere we go. They're like our new DNA. So saving them money is easy. When it comes to the analytics, you're spot on, David. The executives, HR, they're on it, right? They want to see what's going on.
Yeah, so the hard dollar savings, I would say, are, okay, we're going to do it better and we're going to optimize. That's the hard dollar savings, and they're there. Excuse me, but maybe equal to or more importantly is the change of behavior that sometimes takes place because you have reporting and analytics that they're not used to getting. They're not used to reviewing those things. They're not used to saying, well, why does somebody get this much and somebody gets that much? And is there a direct correlation between somebody that does a good job or a bad job? And then how do you manage your people or supervise or lead your people based upon that reporting and who's efficient and who's not, and who's productive and who's not? I mean, there's a lot of things that you can glean from that information, but without it, you're certainly not able to act on anything.
For sure. So, John, talk about one report that you like to show the clients that weekend usage. Tell a little bit about that.
So we created this report, and I got a lot of feedback from a lot of executives and CIOs, people we partner with and make life easier for them. And what they wanted to find out is, how do I tell if they're using this device during work or after hours? I just don't know. So we developed a report to where actually in the portal, you could put the hours that the employee works. And you can run analytics to see how much voice, data, and text is being used during work and how much is really being used after hours. And we analyzed, the over 500,000 devices that we manage, and 67% of data use is after hours and on the weekends. Okay. So this report, we have, I have people tell me stories that we called this guy in and he's like, what's going on here? You're using way too much data. And he's like, what do you mean? I only use my phone for work. Well, the numbers don't lie because they can see right there and then, well, you spent from 9 to midnight, you've used 24 gigs this month, right? So then it's like, oh man, I'm sorry. My daughter came home from college. I've been letting her use my phone as a hotspot. So these are the kind of analytics that I've had CFOs say, I got a meeting every month. I meet with my HR and the team to go through these analytics because, it's about having the right people on the right bus, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's just education. They don't know, right? They see commercials, unlimited this, unlimited that. So they go home, they cancel their home internet, they watch movies, they give the tablets to the kids, and they're not syncing up the Wi-Fi. And at the end of the day, it's costing the company. So sometimes it's just an education piece. And when people start to talk, usage starts to go down. That allows us to ratchet costs down even further.
Yeah, for sure. So Doug, have your partners that have taken advantage of the wireless watchdogs solution, have they provided any feedback to the value that they're seeing?
Yeah, I mean, they're seeing consistent value per device, per employee, $10 to $20 per device per month, most cases. And it's creating a revenue stream that they, it was spend before, but now it's almost like they're saving that money. And, it's guaranteed that they're going to get those savings with the wireless watchdogs agreement. And they're not having to pay full-time employees to manage those devices anymore. So they're really happy about that. So nothing but good experiences from our customers. It's a very sticky solution.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Wow. Well, guys, you guys feel like it looks like you got a pretty good dialed-in relationship going here, and that's exactly what we're looking to foster for PlanetOne.
To get better.
Yeah, let's make a lot of money together, right?
That's right.
It doesn't look like our first time on the dance floor together.
Not at all. Not at all.
I got a pretty mean two-step. I better watch out.
So, John, what's one thing you'd want our partners to take away from this discussion that they can take to their clients?
Okay. Go to your book of business. Any new opportunities or clients you're trying to land, go in there and ask them how mobility is treating them. See if you get, if you have any clients with 200 devices, it takes 7 to 10 minutes. I'm sure Doug can vouch for that. 7 to 10 minutes to get us the data. That is about 80% of their close, because once we get that data, we're going to show their clients how much money's on the table, all these analytics with their data, right? How we're going to make life so much easier. So if they have 200 devices, you make $500 right away, right? But it's low hanging fruit, right? No rip and replace. And it's, believe me, everybody's suffering from some kind of mobility induced headache. They don't like it. And we are the aspirin for managing that and making life easier for your clients. So it's a good opportunity to go back to your book of business and see and ask questions like, hey, how's mobility treating you? If we can show you a way to cut costs without switching your carrier, right? Give you analytics and take this off your plate. It's a free look. Are you in? So that's what I would leave with. There's a lot of opportunity. Every company has mobile devices. So it's about asking the right questions and getting over some bills. Because again, that is 80% of the close once we see that.
Awesome.
James, I'd like to add there too,
Yeah.
the times where it fits into their sweet spot, right? It's 200 plus devices. And you have you have the decision maker, you have the right parties at the table. The most common objection we get is, this seems too good to be true.
Yep.
Yeah,
It seems like a no-brainer.
definitely.
And the reality is, when you don't have to change a device, you don't have to change carriers, you don't have to necessarily change your contract, you don't have to change SIM cards. It really kind of is a no-brainer. Like there's not a lot of cost other than the cost of maybe just learning and kind of onboarding that you might go through, which is, soft dollar cost. And certainly that's where any changes, it can sometimes be costly to the company. But at the end of the day, there really isn't any kind of risk or exposure or anything like that. So it makes it truly that no-brainer scenario that we don't get very often. There's usually a lot of, this is good, but that's not so good. Well, if we do that, then we can't do this. But in this case, it really is just that simple.
You're exactly right, Dave.
Well said.
Yeah, well said on that. So, John, I know we talk about your agreement. How long is it?
It's 1.5 pages.
Gets through
Typically,
legal pretty quickly.
I think if you add MDM services to it, it gets to like 2.5 pages maybe. But it gets through legal quick. It's black and white. Okay, everything we're going to be doing. It has the savings guarantee written right in it.
What is that guarantee?
The guarantee is, so here's how we work. So once we get the opportunity, we run an analysis and we present to the decision makers. From there, it's like, wow, guys, this is amazing. Let's move forward. If they choose to move forward, we take that analysis that we presented as the baseline. At the end of 12 months, we run another analysis. If for any reason, if we've charged them more than what we've saved them, forget about all efficiency, accountability. If we've charged them more than what we saved them, we'll take out our checkbook and we'll cut them back the difference. We've never had to do that. 20 years of business, we've never had to do that. Matter of fact, at the end of the 12 months, we can, we'll run another analysis to show them. But guess what? They don't even ask for it. They just keep going. During the pandemic, and Dave kind of hit on this, it was an unknown. I think as business owners, we're always as unknown what's going to happen. We didn't lose any clients. We got more stickability because the work from home. We started helping, people with the MiFi devices, getting credits from the carriers from all the overage that we're getting because people are just using a tremendous amount of data, going back to the carriers and say, wait a minute, we need a credit for this, right? If not, we have our own ways to get those discounts. So
Awesome.
I would say,
Awesome. So ATC team, do you think this would be something you could take to clients and kind of, budgets are always stretched, right? This might be a way for you to go and say, hey, you're close to getting budget for this project you're working on. This might be a way that we can find some extra budget for you by saving some money on the other side of things. Have you guys ever tried that approach?
I think the biggest hurdle probably is just finding those that have 200 or more devices. There are a lot of companies that don't. There was a mass migration years ago where people went from corporate liable plans, right?
Yeah.
Where corporate owned the devices and paid for the devices to, we don't really want to be in that because everybody's kind of doing their own thing. BYOD,
Correct.
bring your own device, or BYOD, bring your own device. So there was a lot of stipends that were kind of put out. And now I kind of feel like, wait, with security and consumption skyrocketing, it's like, well, we're kind of reeling that back in now. So it was harder to get to 200. Maybe it's getting a little bit easier, but that's probably our biggest obstacle is just getting to enough of those that have 200 or more devices. There are plenty of them out there, and we're coming across more of them on a regular basis. But it's just a normal part of our lexicon or kind of our portfolio, if you will, to be asking those questions because
Awesome.
the opportunity is just too great.
Good.
Yeah, and to be clear, we do take on clients less than 200 devices. It's just on the spiff side of things. That's where the sweet spot, right? We talk about the sweet spot, 200-300, devices, 1,000. That's all the sweet spot. So that's what we're trying to do: grab those in and give that money out. But if you guys have, if there's less than 200 devices, 100 devices, we'll still take them on.
Yeah, and we have some mutual clients with you guys that have less than 200 devices and still saving them money. And you're right, James, is that that cost savings, and this is often how the conversation comes up of, now they have this new line item on, their proposal, right, for maybe a new phone system that they're looking at, or maybe adding a managed, layered security product that they're not really paying for today. And with Watchdogs, we're able to save that money on the wireless side and reallocate it somewhere else. So it's a win-win.
Awesome. That's great. So a little fun. Dave, how's the fastball?
Ha!
About 20 miles an hour off what it used to be.
I'm sure it's not that bad.
No, it probably isn't. I don't know. 93 was my best. So 73, I could throw it that hard. It's just the back of your rotator cuff the front is what pulls it through. It's the back that slows it down so you don't just whack yourself. That's part is not very good anymore.
Yeah, somebody asked me not too long ago about the 40 time and what that would look like, and it's a lot slower.
Yeah, I started pitching at 32. I still throw 32. So.
I have some guys that try to get me to play 40 over 40 and over 50, and I'm like, no, I had my day. It's come and gone. I'm done. I'm fine. I can golf now. That's good.
Yeah, I had some friends come on and ask me to play some pickup, flag football for Turkey Bowl, that kind of thing. And I remember the last time I played, I said, I can't do it the way I want to anymore. This is my last time ever. So I've been there. I know exactly what you mean, for sure. Well, guys, I want to thank you for your time. And then also, Dave, I wanted to thank you for your partnership, and congratulations to you and the team on your high rollers achievement.
Nice.
Thank you. We had a team of, I think we're up to 12 now. A couple of them are so new they're not really making an impact or haven't started yet, but we just have a really good team. I mean, we're all rowing in the same direction. Everybody works with a sense of urgency, always a tremendous focus on the customer. And we lean on PlanetOne to help us find those vendors that are going to help us grow. At the end of the day, it comes down to who's the easiest to do business with.
Right.
If they're going to be customer and partner friendly, they're probably going to get a good share of our business. If they're not, they're probably not. And one of the great things about being in the channel is we can turn the spigot up when they're doing great, and we can turn it down when they're not doing so great. So
right.
Kudos to you guys for helping us find those vendors that are doing it right.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks again. Appreciate your time on this, and look forward to working with you both, and we'll talk soon.
All right, it's time. We got 30 minutes for you to meet with our preferred providers. Please take advantage of this time in the platform. Get your meetings in and get set. We will be back here at 3:15 Eastern, 12:15 Pacific time, and we'll start with our preferred provider hot seat sessions. Go enjoy this time. Make good use of it. We'll see you back here in 30 minutes.